Now, I didn't plan to talk about Psycho extensively last review. However, when I realized the similarities, I felt like I had to. I originally planned to just talk about it here since the two films are very comparable. So, here we are. In 1960, two proto-slasher films were made in the same year by British directors who featured a psychopathic murderer who isn't stereotypical with the slasher genre by being a rather attractive young man who is driven to kill by a parent. One of which was Psycho, as I stated before. It received a lot of acclaim, mostly from audiences as critics dismissed the film. It received quite a bit of controversy as well. However, it reached even more acclaim over the coming decades, and now people consider it to be one of the greatest films ever made and one of Hitchcock's best, if not the best. The other being today's film, Peeping Tom. While critics were hard on Psycho, they did nothing but bash this film, along with audiences, for being incredibly controversial, even more so than Psycho. It pretty much destroyed Michael Powell's career as a director, as he only made a handful of films for the next 18 years, eventually retiring in 1978 and passing away in 1990. Over the next few decades, it slowly became a cult film in the 1970s. Then, as even more time went on, it has finally received the recognition it deserved by not only horror fans but cinephiles as well. It's about a loner named Mark Lewis who goes around and murders young women, but with a twist. He uses his camera to not only film their deaths, but kills them as well. A very fascinating movie from start to finish. While nowadays nothing is really all that gruesome, it's still an intriguing film with great suspense. Karl Heiss Baum, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, plays Mark Lewis, the loner serial killer. He gives an amazing performance. He has a certain awkwardness about him that never goes over the top. It has a right amount of awkwardness that makes him an outsider, but not weird, of course, other than him killing people. I also really like his accent, as it sounds similar to horror icon Vincent Price. Only one other performance is noteworthy, and it's Anna Massey as Helen. She also has a kind of awkwardness about her that makes her a good foil for Mark. They have really good chemistry, and their friendship grows over the course of the film. The kills are less than inspiring, mainly because they cut away at the last second before it shows anything gruesome. Because of this, Psycho has a one-up on Peeping Tom. Alfred Hitchcock used inventive ways to get around the tight grip the censors had on Psycho, while this one is more so conventional. Not that it's a bad thing, because the film is more so a character study of Mark Lewis rather than the kills themselves. I also like the music. It was somewhat unconventional as it was just a fast track piano and it wasn't heard all that much. It was still rather interesting though, and I did like it, and it kind of gets stuck in your head after a while. While Psycho was more so about the mystery of what happened to Janet Leigh's character and how Norman Bates factored into everything, Peeping Tom is more so a character study about how Mark Lewis and how one tries to figure out why he does what he does. It is incredibly interesting, but I found Psycho to be a more intriguing film. In the trifecta of Psycho, Maniac, and Peeping Tom, this film is the weakest of the three, but still quite fascinating. Bohm has this film on his shoulders since the entirety of the plot is based around him, while Psycho seemed more like an ensemble with an outshining performance from Perkins. This was a great horror film with some genuine suspense, an intriguing storyline and premise, and a great performance from Bohm. Check it out. So, this wraps up my personal 2017 Monster Madness. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope to continue it for the next few years. The reason I did this and took the name Monster Madness is because I pretty much love horror films because of James Rolfe, and I feel like I had to do this just to have the legacy of Monster Madness live on. I hope it didn't like insult anybody or anything by watching this because it wasn't by James, and I don't exactly have the best equipment and I don't have the best voice to do this. So I just hope everyone enjoyed my reviews. I plan on doing this next year. I just hope that I can get some better equipment and editing software to do so. I just hope that everyone who was watching this can give me a chance. I know I'm not as good as James Rolfe, I never will be, and I will never be as good as his reviews. Even at the end, when he wasn't as into it as he was before, I could listen to him for hours. He just has that kind of personality and voice that just makes him very appealing to listen to and to watch, of course. I would also like to add he did give me his blessing to use the name Monster Madness in hopes that other people get inspired to watch horror films and respect them as much as we do. So, That wraps it up. Again, I hope you really enjoyed my Monster Madness. Plus, check out all the movies I did this past month. They're all worth a watch because they all deserve to be talked about in one form or another. Even Don't Look Now. You could love them or hate them. I would love to hear your opinion on them, good or bad. It's nice to hear different opinions about each film, whether I like them or not. So, again, I hope you like this somewhat new Monster Madness that won't replace the old one. I'd just like to state that. See you in October 2018.